Mm-mm. Hi, everybody.
Hey.
It says we're live, but I gotta
Not yet.
I almost said in real estate in YouTube.
I'm
Okay,
not, it hasn't popped up yet. Oh,
in
there it is.
I almost there we are in YouTube. Hi, everybody. Merry
Hasn't popped
Christmas.
up yet. Can I mute that?
Okay, we will still hold still and hope the hop isn't easy. What hop?
I just said we're about
Oh, Liz was like, who hopping?
to meet. We
Okay,
are
y'all.
hopping.
Hi. It's been a while for me, at least.
Yeah. I
I've
was
been,
on this 2 nights ago.
I know. I missed that. I was sleeping. I've been so MIA on what is my words? I was gonna say Facebook lately. YouTube.
It's all the same.
Hi. Let's go through the chat. JR, Barbara, um, Brianna,
Mark.
hello. Lizelle and Mark. What's up, y'all? Happy Christmas. I almost said happy birthday.
Happy Christmas.
Happy Christmas, Harry.
It is, yeah. They do say that in England. It's Happy Christmas instead
Happy
of
Christmas.
Merry.
Yeah. The solstice white meat. Yeah. What day was the 21st? Like Tuesday or something. Hi, Ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Happy Christmas. The
Hello,
21st was Wednesday. Yeah, that was a long day for me. That was
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so let me do my intro. I'm like real out of it right now. So, hello, alchemists. Welcome or welcome back. My name is
Wait,
Ava.
no, I should do it because I've memorized it at this point.
Do you
Hello,
want
alchemist. Welcome or welcome back. I'm Abe.
I know what the heck. My name is Ava, aka Queen Midas Life Alchemist. Hi, Malika. And I am here with my lovely co-host, Lizelle. Okay, y'all. She in the house. Yes, yes. We're here for another episode of Freeing the Feminine. Liz got on the merch.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
got on the Freeing the Feminine sweatshirt. Check it out at her Etsy shop. I believe it's in my description box below. Um, but yeah, y'all, thank you for joining us on this happy Christmas.
Christmas,
um,
Harry. Happy.
Happy Christmas. We're here for another episode of Freeing the Feminine, and this is going to be relationships part 4. I didn't put what we're discussing in the title, which I should have, but whatever, y'all showed up, so I'll edit it later. But we're going to be talking about toxic relationships, codependency, and red flags tonight. So we wanted to go live because we wanted to have your input and see what you all might have to say, or what you might chime in for some of this stuff. Okay, so let's start out with toxic relationships. What are some signs of toxic relationships is the first thing that I wrote down. And I guess what I'll start with is a big one is like love bombing. You know, when somebody feels so or comes off as like almost like too nice or too invested or too like wanting to know a whole lot about the person, or just like overly helpful, or almost like intrusive energetically. And then and it turns into, at least in my experience, I'll speak from my experience, I've broken this cycle now, but I've had these relationships where I've dated older men, and a lot of them have been wealthy, and they think they can, it's like they're very generous, they're very loving, they're very this, that, and the, loving, and this, that, and the other, and giving all of these things, and then it's like, but you need to act this certain way in order to keep receiving this, that, or the other, or like thinking they could buy me.
Yeah.
And what I find so funny is growing up, I've always seen these like big dreams for myself. I've always seen this big life for myself that I created. And I would always tell my friends, I don't want to be a housewife. I don't want somebody to just hand everything to me, this, that, and it. And what did I do? I attracted people. I literally, like, y'all, I've had some offers that, like, I've had some experiences that most people don't. And when I would tell my girlfriends, they'd be like, "Oh, girl, does he have friends?"
Mhm.
Because I'm because I'm talking like private jets,
Yeah.
like, you know, crazy amounts of money thrown at me, luxury
Mhm.
dinners and vacations and stuff like that. And I'm not complaining about those things because your girl bougie, but but the way that they came to me was exactly the opposite of what I had been speaking. And like, I'm never going to this, that, and the other. And
Mhm.
Spirit's like, oh, you ain't? Oh,
Mhm.
let's see. They're like, okay, girl, go off.
Mhm. Let's see about that.
Yeah, so that was a big thing. Love bombing, and then like flipping the script and almost becoming like someone trying to like almost infiltrate and like own.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
or like trying to take over. I don't even know, because and it's very weird to speak about this because or to find the language to talk about it, because it still doesn't quite feel right the way that I'm saying it, because it's not that person's fault. I allowed myself to get into that position by giving away my power and continuing to
Mhm.
say yes. I didn't have to continue to say yes, but
Right.
I kept saying yes and like letting go, like letting this power, a little bit of power be taken away there, and letting this little bit of power taken away there. So in the end, it was for me to learn and break that cycle.
Mhm.
But it's definitely something to think about, is like somebody who's just like super super interested from the very get-go, and like almost too helpful to where it seems, or like too generous to where it's like, why is this person so
Mhm.
doing these things? um that is one thing that I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, and I can speak on kind of a different side of that because I have seen a family member of mine do that continuously. Like, you got a fan on?
Yeah, it's hot. Sorry.
um, but yeah, I've seen a family member of mine do that constantly. He doesn't date younger women, but the women that he dates are always damsels in distress, and he tries to love bomb them, and then he will try to be their savior also, and he'll just give and like overly give, and then he has this expectation that they never meet up to, and then he gets mad at them for not living up to this expectation that he never voiced. So it's like, I'm like, do you not see this cycle? Because you do this literally with every single woman that you date. I don't understand.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny. It's not funny, but it's just interesting to see like him go through that pattern like constantly,
Yeah.
constantly. And it's a lack of self-worth on his end because he thinks that the only way that he can get love and affection is by buying it, and then not being able to voice his needs on top of it, you know. It's just it's a bad cycle. But
Mm.
I don't know. I feel like whenever someone's like trying to love bomb me, I just get real skeptical real quick. I'm like, what do you want? Like,
Mhm.
what do you want? Like, I'm not playing this game. Just tell me what you want. I don't want any kind of expectations that I can't meet to be here. And that's what's funny about my husband is, yes, Odell. Um, I feel like, well, I mean, what we're talking about is exactly that, a form of manipulation and gaslighting.
Mhm.
It's like, you know, I feel like anytime you don't, like, you're trying to mold this person into something that you don't know technically if they are or not, is manipulation and gaslighting all of itself. But I don't know. I feel like the difference between my relationship with my husband has been, it was the opposite of that. Because he, one of the first questions he asked me was, how many kids do you want? And I was like, I barely know you, bro. We're not even dating. Why do you want to know that? Like, and I like kind of like said that to him, and he liked my bluntness basically. And I was like, I don't know. I mean, I'll see you whenever, I marry the person I'm marrying, And he was like, okay, just kind of like he was sussing me out at the beginning. And there was no love bombing at all with him, because me and him both came from our own versions of nothing. So there wasn't even like a hint of that. He just like took care of me. And I always tell people the reason why I married him was because he was the first man that I did not have any red flags with. None. There was always, and even by red flags, I mean like things that I just didn't like that much. And it wasn't even like, oh, that's so bad, like that's so, toxic, whatever. It could even just be like the way their face looks, or like, like their height. Like my first and only other boyfriend besides my husband, he was my height, and I didn't like that. I didn't like it. I dated him, and I didn't want to have short children, quite honestly. And to me, that was a red flag, and that was a very like little shallow, I guess, red flag. But at the same time, I was just like, I don't want to like never be able to wear high heels, and like I don't want to feel restricted in the way I dress by who I'm with and whatnot. But it was even like the smallest thing like that was like, I didn't have any of those with Johnny, with my husband. But yeah, red flags can be anything. They're really just preferences in a way. And I like what you said, Ava, the other day about red flags are kind of just like hey, this doesn't add up. It's like a warning sign. It's like, hey, this doesn't add up to like what you want,
We're gonna talk about red flags later.
Well, yeah.
we can actually go into it now, though, since you're already segueing in.
I didn't mean to go into it.
It's okay. It's okay. Let's just go ahead and skip to that.
Okay.
And we can come back and talk if more toxic traits come in, or if you all have anything in the chat that you want to talk about. But okay, so I have a question. What are red flags first? And then are red flags about us or the other person? So you were already starting with that.
Yeah.
So
well, I'm just like reiterating what you said to me the other day or yesterday about how red flags are actually for you. It's not really about the other person, which I was like, yeah, that makes sense. A lot of times we like, do our, what do you call it thing? What is that called? Where you're putting your issues on someone else? What?
Projecting?
Yeah, projecting. Like red flags, we act like we're projecting when we have red flags, because the red flag is to us. It's not about the other person specifically. And I liked what you said about that, because it makes a lot more sense, because it's a warning sign for you, not necessarily about them or their character or whatever. But it's more so like God, universe being like, hey, this doesn't meet up. This isn't your standard. Move along.
Or like, we already did that cycle. Like, are you sure?
Sure you want to go down this road again? Warning. I'm giving you a warning.
Right.
But yeah, I feel like you could elaborate a little more on that.
Yeah. So yesterday, Liz and I were chatting, and I was pretty much sending her like a 45-minute video diary.
It was 45 minutes.
Where I'm like in this deep thought train, and I'm like, but red flags.
I was like, Ava has just let me into her like video diary, basically. Like, this is what this is at this point. Oh my goodness.
So I was just like, are you, sir, that's enough. He's like wanting to join it. He's like, I got some red flags too. So it's so funny because if on the topic of relationships, it's like, what are the red flags? If you see this, you need to like run away and blah, 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 blah. But I like to look at things from different sides too and question and see where there's more truth or the rest of the story. So I was just like, what if red flags are really about us? Hi, Iseek. Hi, Hello Earth. I've never seen you all here. So welcome. That's so cool.
Yes,
There's new
hello.
names. I love that. What are your real names? Because we have, if you're comfortable giving your real names, because we are like really family in this chat, and so we know each other's names. But if you're not comfortable, that's okay. Welcome. Thank you for being here. So what I was saying was, are red flags really about us? Hello, Carlos. Because we might be getting triggered, or we might see something and be like, ooh, on another person. But if people are mirrors in our lives, then they're essentially like reflecting something back to us within us that needs to be healed or addressed. And like Liz was saying, it could also be messages from spirit like, hey, pay attention to this, because this is something that is not in alignment with where you're headed or where you're at, or like it's old energy that you've already worked through. Are you sure that this is like, this might not be the best match or something, stuff like that. So I really, it really changed my mind when I had that question pop into my head about whether red flags are about us or the other person. And I really think they're about us, because the more that I'm learning on this journey, the more that I'm healing, our universe begins and ends with us.
Yeah.
Everything is for our soul evolution, for our growth, for us to learn and evolve and shift out of cycles, and there's some lesson or some golden nugget or some truth to be had in everything. So it's so interesting how, I mean, we live in a world of projections. So red flags, we're taught, are about the other person. And I don't feel that that is the full and complete truth. Just like we've talked about forgiveness a lot of times, and how we're taught to ask forgiveness over and over and over again. But if we really stop and realize that forgiveness starts with us, then we can probably nip it in the bud.
Confirmation.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Hello Earth had a good question. How can you define a person, I guess a person's toxicity?
Okay. How can you define a person's toxicity?
We are all levels of toxic. Literally. We all are toxic in our own ways, I feel like. And because we're all still growing and evolving and maturing and on this journey, like we all have a little bit of toxicness in us. Otherwise, we'd be perfect, and we're not there yet. So Jack's making some noise. But yeah, I feel like as long as we aren't perfected, which I don't know a single person that is perfected other than maybe Jesus, Yeshua. I feel like it. Everyone has a little bit, and you decide what you can handle. Like you decide how much toxicity is too much.
Sorry about that. He was barking because the alarm was going off.
Oh my gosh.
It was being
like,
reset because somebody had come in and left and reset the alarm. Oh. And I was like, yeah. So anyway, that was really random, y'all. This is not a normal occurrence on our lives, but this is life right now.
I mean, it is live, so
yeah, it is live, the livest.
Okay. Basically, I was just saying none of us are perfected. So you determine the level of toxicity that you can deal with, basically. Yeah. I mean, none of us are perfected yet. So there's always going to be a degree of something that we need to learn and work on and all that.
Yeah. And we're all constantly learning and growing, or we should be, some at faster rates than others, and some have, are, you said something about degrees of toxicity, I think, and it's all a little bit different. And we shift in and out of it, I believe. Like some people might hang out in that realm longer than others, and some of us are able to acknowledge it and be like, I need to shift out of this because this is not conducive to like healthy interaction.
Yeah.
So that's a good question. Thank you for asking.
Welcome to the real world of Ava and Liz. If you missed the live last time when she was actually here, that was quite a show.
Yeah. We're the Christmas tree measurements.
It's a cheek tree. It's an Ava tall.
Speaking of, here's my
mine's in my drawer.
My what is this one? Sunstone organite pyramid that Dory sent me, and it is one
bigger than Ava's cheek.
One cheek and then ear to nostril long. In case anybody's wondering.
Exactly my cheek. I have big cheeks, so it's exactly my cheek big, if you're wondering.
Okay. Mark is saying my ex was 7 years older than me and lust was the basis of the relationship. I was young and dumb, but the relationship had its golden moments and she taught me so much. That's beautiful. Yeah. So I think it's really wise of you and shows maturity to be able to look back on what you learned and the good parts of a relationship. Because everybody, there's beauty in every interaction. And I think that every interaction is a divine one, even if it seems like really crappy. There was some sort of beauty in it that led us toward that reaction in the first place. Interaction. Why am I saying reaction? So that's really big of you to acknowledge that, and it shows that there's health and healing there too. Oh, I love that. The only person I ever lost and needed back was myself. And sounds like you're on the journey of as Joel calls it, recapitulation, like, pulling your energy back in that was lost or left behind. And that's the goal along this journey of coming back to oneness with self and ultimately divine creator, coming back to oneness. Let's see. Hi, Bianca. I seek. Remember me, Bianca. As like, what doesn't serve, I don't do. Okay. Most things resonate as discipline, if I make sense. Okay. That, when you say this, are you meaning most things like, when you say discipline, do you mean like lessons or things for us to acknowledge and address within ourselves to become more disciplined? Hello, Earth.
Hey, Tanya. What's up?
Oh, TT here. Hey.
In the room.
Hey, TT.
Tay-Tay. I think Tay-Tay.
Wait, hey, Jay.
Yeah, I think you're like up higher in the chat.
Yeah, I was, because I had the whole, I had to go beat some robbers down real quick.
I'll be right back.
Whip out my jujitsu.
Katana.
It's throwing daggers and stuff. Dun, 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 dun. Welcome to the real world of Ava and Liz. And if I honestly, growth in character is why I elevate. Cool.
Yes, Ocean Odell. Go down to the bottom, Ava.
I'm getting there. I just like to read everybody. I like to see everybody's stuff. I'm getting there. Okay.
Bye, Jay.
Bye, Jay. Oh, hi. Hold on. When you set, there we go. When you set healthy boundaries and your partner doesn't support your boundaries, that's very toxic. A big red flag. Yes.
Yes.
So now let's flip it. How is that a red flag for you?
For me?
About you.
Oh, yeah.
So boundaries definitely when somebody tests your boundaries repeatedly after you are vocal about them, and that's the big part. You have to be vocal and you have to like set your standards, you know, and we have to train people how to treat us, and we do that by setting boundaries and respecting theirs. So if they don't have their own, they're not going to be able to acknowledge and respect yours. And
Right.
that is very toxic because that breeds, you know, resentment, abuse, intrusive behaviors, manipulation. Um, what else? Uh, can breed like narcissistic behavior too, and like codependent behavior for sure. That's another thing I wanted to talk about as well, and I talked about it before. So leading into codependency, um what I was talking about with the love bombing and then the manipulation, um codependency has been something that has continued to pop up over and over again and in my life, and like messages around it, and I've really been like sitting with it and thinking, I feel like there's so much more to it than what we talk about on the regular, and I feel like it manifests in our lives in ways that we don't understand. Like somebody might not think they're codependent in the picture book way of like the empath narcissist, or like in a situation where like I was with someone who could give me anything I wanted, but then I was giving up my power and my independence and whatnot, and essentially my freedom, because I was, you know, getting on this person's this or that or whatever, and then like slowly letting my power go away. So then I'm like codependent on this person because they're supplying everything for my life, you know. So that's one of the big ways that it's shown. But then like if you think about on a global or a governmental or a country scale, national scale, like look at those $1,200 checks that were coming out for months, and people were like, oh, I ain't gonna work because the government just gonna give me, you know, my money, so why do I want to work? So that's one level of codependency there. It's not just in intimate relationships or uh, parent child relationships too, like thinking of a child, like say there, this is what's coming to mind now, like a child that doesn't, maybe has a substance dependent parent or something, or a parent who's very caught up in themselves and self-centered, and they're not getting the attention they need, so they're acting out in certain ways in order to get that attention. So it's like, and I don't know if I'm even saying this right, like they feel that they have to act a certain way to get the nurturing or care or the support or provision that they need from somebody who is emotionally unavailable.
Yeah. I mean, my toddler does it all the time.
Yeah.
Like if I'm not paying attention to him, or just in this time that, we've had the dynamic change of having a new baby and him not having my attention as much as he's used to. He's, started acting out, and, I've seen him do a whole array of things, and Ava has too, because she was here for like, what, 10, 11 days. And he went, like, some days he would be doing, he would be like super hyperactive, screaming, just like being so loud, obviously trying to get someone's attention to, like, pay attention to him, to meet his needs of like connection. And then other days he would get aggressive. and he would get aggressive and throw things and hit and scratch and hurt, his little brother and, all these things. And then another day he would, and sometimes he does all of these in one day. Another day he would, start like performing, like singing or dancing or something like that, because he got attention when he did it because it's really cute, like he like was looking for any possible way to get attention from somebody. And I think everything stems back to childhood. So I even can say for myself, my mom was pretty absent once my parents got divorced, and for me, I was like 6 years old, and that was very young. And one thing that she would do, which I found, I discovered this in myself within the last couple of years, and it was kind of like earth shattering for me. She would stay in her room because she did online school. She was getting her bachelor's degree in like psychology and stuff like that. And she would stay in her room for 8 hours a day. She would only come out to watch TV and like eat a bowl of cereal at night. And she would watch like a few hours of TV and then she would go to bed. And we were like over here like begging for her attention. And to the point where she's even told me before that I used to take her face and go, "Look at me." Like, and as a 6-year-old. And I realized that subconsciously, and she would get mad at me when I would do that. She'd be like, "I'm trying to veg out. I've been working on school all day. I just need to not think about anything and just watch this TV show." And I'm like, so in my little 6-year-old brain, I'm like, okay, so I need to be on TV for my mother to pay attention to me.
Oh, yes.
So then
Wow.
I entered the world of acting and performing.
Wow.
And that was how I got attention from my mother and my parents, because they would come to my plays. Like if I did plays at school, they would come and watch that. And then I became the performer. And that is how I became codependent to even like an art form to get my needs met.
Interesting.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
you've told me those different parts, but you've never told me them linked together
really?
like that.
Yeah.
That is so interesting.
I linked them together not that long ago, and I was like, do I really like want to do acting? And I do love the art form of it, and I love expressing myself in that way. But it was an outlet for me to get my needs met, for people to actually pay attention to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it also was a way for me to let out my anger, my emotions, because I would always pick really depressing parts. I would always, and like I could get out my anger and emotions without hurting anyone because it was fake, but it was real to me.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to protect everybody while getting my needs met. It's a whole thing.
Wow. That's very complex.
Yeah. But me as a little 6-year-old came up with that, if you can believe it. Like, but yeah, it's you can be codependent with anything, like anything and everything, essentially.
I just thought about food.
Yeah. And meeting your emotional needs through food. Do that too.
That food, substances, feeling like, oh my God, I need this cigarette to get through the day, or oh my God, I need these drinks coffee. Wow. I didn't even think about these things too. Exercise, because some people are so get over the top with exercise, eating disorders. Wow, y'all.
Yeah, codependency, it's kind of like me and you talked about this while you were here about the whole people like saying they don't like people, that whole topic. They just don't need anyone. They want to be alone. They want to not be around people, but you need people.
Yes.
You need them. We are a communal people, entity, whatever you want to call it. We're meant to be surrounded by people, with people. We're meant to be around people to have them meet our needs and us meet their needs. It's supposed to be this give and take exchange. And and like so many people are just like, I don't need anyone. I'm like, no, you need people. You need to be codependent to some extent. You need to be so trusting that you can be essentially codependent. Like with some people, there should be, with everything, there's a balance and a counterfeit. There's a counterfeit, there's a balance. And I feel like what our society has done is taken codependency and turned it upside down, to where it's a negative thing. Like, we need all these things, we need all this stuff, we need all these substances, we need these relationships that aren't serving us, whatever you want to call it, when we don't and we do at the same time. It's such a complex topic, but I feel like there is a good side to it. It's just I haven't exactly found the balance of it yet. But
well, what came to my mind as you were saying that is like toxicity versus healing. Like,
yeah.
Do we want to take the toxic route of codependency? And more so the healing and healthful aspect is more so like you were saying, community.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's not being, I feel like it shifts out of codependency when everyone's pulling their weight in a healthy way and everyone's contributing and nobody's, because vampiric is what's coming to mind with codependency. Somebody is like kind of feeding, or something's kind of feeding on something else. And I have never thought about that or like voiced that way before, but it's coming now.
Yeah. It's the difference between freely giving and freely receiving.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But it's been switched to what you're, like vampire thing. And it's even funny because vampires are so pushed on us and I absolutely hate it.
Yeah, they're the cool things, but it's like, it's so interesting. And y'all, so this is so random, but my mind goes into these crazy places. So, so vampires, yes, it's like there's this death culture with, look at the Addams Family. That's a huge show right now. We were talking about that before. Vampires, werewolves. This is so random where this chat is going, but I love it. Just death culture, goth. And they show us these things that are like these viruses throughout our society, but in subtle ways. Hi, Mary. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Mary.
And it's these subtle undertones, but they show us this other like dramatized version of it to make us be distracted to think that that's the only way vampirism looks like. And so it's like, okay, so if I'm looking for a vampire, I'm looking for like someone in black, like they only come out at night, that's vampirism. It can't be manifest in any other way, like we were just talking about. And
sorry.
And even, okay, so this is so random, but I had I when I was in Pennsylvania, and Liz and I were doing some like kind of like remote viewing together, and then I was in the car not by myself, but with the person that I was with at that time. And I kind of just went into it again to like continue where I had left off. And I got taken to Iceland and shown, like, I asked Yeshua like where he wanted to take me. He took me to Iceland and showed me there were like giants in the trees, like walking throughout like huge. And I was like, this is so weird. Like, I don't remember if it was giants or trolls or something. And I look it up. I'm like, this is so random. I come out of it and I look it up, and there's all this folklore around trolls and giants in Iceland. And then there's this movie on Netflix right now called Troll, where he's literally like a sleeping giant. Y'all, they show us this in movies. They show us this and all that stuff. The sleeping lady in Alaska. I don't know if you can see it anymore on Google Earth, but this mountain range literally looks like a titan that laid down to go to sleep. They show it in the first opening scene of Moana, where Fiji, she lays Tafiti, she lays down and becomes the island. And okay, so Yeah. Yeah. And I had to rewind it. I'm like, oh, rewind like it's a VHS. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, they straight up showed us that in the first 5 seconds. It's
Mhm.
but they're showing that, and I'm getting to the point here. But okay, so the troll, he looked like this mountain face.
Mhm.
Um, and then he wakes up. But I was like, in the 90s, y'all, the year that I was born, the most popular toy was trolls. How crazy is that? I'm just now realizing that because I came across this article, the most popular toys of the years, and I
Yeah.
looked up my birth year and it was trolls. Why was it trolls when all of this stuff has been popping into my attention sphere? Anyway, so I think about it yesterday and I'm like, they've been showing us trolls as these little tiny things, okay?
Mhm.
These little things with this big crazy hair, these little tiny dolls. They make movies about it and they're small. But then they popping out movies where these things are freaking titans. So which one
Right.
is it? I think they're the titans. I think that's the
Probably.
exact same thing where they're distracting us with like this little drum, like crazy. Yeah, Mary's like trolls are huge. These little crazy things. But
Mhm.
they're really these freaking titans that are land masses, y'all. So that's what I was getting at. That's totally off topic, but it relates in one way, and I just had to share part of my
Right.
life with y'all because I've been gone for a while, and now she back.
Yeah. I mean, like the vampire thing is where you were branching off from, but
20 minutes ago.
fine. We're just all a part of Ava's diary.
I know this is literally what happens. My mind is just like I'm this like information processor.
Yeah. Sometimes no, it's good. Like it's good that you're recording it because you can go back and be like, oh my gosh, yeah, like that connects to that and that connects to that. Anyways, but I was gonna say like I've experienced so many what I call Christian vampires in my life,
Oh
and
yeah.
especially when I went to church, and I went to church until I was like uh just got ringing in my ear. I went to church until I was maybe 23, I think. And I would always wonder why I would go to church and then like leave, go home and be in the worst mood ever and just feel so drained and dead. Like I didn't want to do anything. I remember feeling physically like exhausted after church. And it's funny because that guy, Ian Clayton, talked about it. He's like, Christian vampires are a thing. They come in on Sunday morning, haven't done any work for themselves through the week, and then they just suck the life out of the people that have done the work through the week. They get their drug fix for the week, from all the people that actually have been cultivating their relationship with God and everything. And I was like, that makes so much sense. That makes so much sense. And I mean, it's, energy vampires. Exactly. I like to call them Christian vampires because it's funnier.
Yeah, it
Because
is.
there's so many of them.
Um, yeah, you have mentioned that, and that I was gonna be like that's gross, but it is. Vampirism in any way is gross, and we've all been
Yeah,
the
we all do
vampire.
it.
We've
Yeah.
all been it.
Yeah.
Some people are just more aware, and some are aware and don't care,
Mm-hmm.
and some are
Yeah.
aware and like let me shift out of that, just like with the toxicity. So I want to talk about Barbara's comment here. A person will divulge their integrity or lack of integrity early on in every aspect of her life. Remember I said that how people will
Mm-hmm.
show you and tell you exactly who they are from the beginning.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, so thank you for saying that. I think it's so true because this is we have to pay attention to those things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, seriously.
Um,
Because I feel like the red flags literally happen right in the beginning. They always do. And then like you get so blinded by like puppy love or whatever. I'm thinking romantic relationships, but even in friendships too, you know, um, people always do that, and they'll always, you always have the red flag right in the beginning, and then usually you ignore it, and then you get into a whole dramatic situation usually, and it's like universe, God is like, hello, I gave you the warning sign.
mhm.
And then another person comes around that's probably similar. And then it's like, are you going to take the warning sign this time, or are we going to go through this again?
Right. And someone up here earlier said communication. So Mark said communication earlier. And that I feel like that has to do with what you're talking about. With that can play into like the friendship. People who are crappy communicators, which we both talked about, who like they'll reach out to you and you respond with the quickness. And then they're a freaking ghost town. It's like, well, why'd you text me then?
Yeah. I feel so bad these days because I've become a terrible responder because my life has gotten crazier in the last few months. And I feel I'm becoming the person that I literally hate with responding.
But the thing is, the people who know you,
right, they
have
understand.
grace for you because we know that you have a lot going on. And
yeah. And at this point, I'll just look at my phone and like see it and read it and be like, oh, I need to respond. And then something gets my attention, probably my toddler about to jump off of something. Because the boy likes to jump. He's a thrill seeker. Something gets my attention and then I forget. And it's like, yeah, I had that conversation with another friend a few days ago. I was like, I am so sorry. I like never respond to anything you say. And I realized that. She's like, girl, I get it. You have a newborn and a toddler. Like, and then everything else that's going on. But yeah, I literally despise those people that only talk to you when they want to talk to you. In the sense of like, I mean, it's like, it's just one way street kind of thing. Like, I'll message them and never hear response. But then when they want to talk, as long as I keep talking back in that moment, the conversation will go on for hours. And I'm just like, so why is it important when you talk, but it's not important when I start? That's what I'm wondering, because I'm not okay with this.
Right. I know two people straight off the top of my head who they reach, hey girl, how are you? What are you doing? Literally will make plans. And then I don't hear from them again. And I'm like, okay, delete, block. Look, this block thing will be hot. And it's so funny because
it was really hot with that block button. Just so you know, guys.
I'm like, who wants some? Because look, don't come up here tapping on my.
Really hot with it.
I am. I'm like, don't come tapping on my phone looking for some attention or, response, and then be gone with the wind. Oh, you want to be gone with the block?
I'll make sure you're gone with the wind.
I'm just like, I have no tolerance for it now. I'm just so like, funny. Nope.
Well, it's also like, what was I gonna say? Oh, dang it! I had something that was gonna go along with that. Dang it! I don't know where it went. Keep going.
Okay. I just also wanted to acknowledge something. So yes, you're so right, Ocean. Community and connection is so important. Very, very true. And then Hello Earth said, Carlos, living in an informative time, if I come out rude in any way, don't blame. Heart and communication is key. For love overtakes hate. To say I be learning, empower with silence. Yes, we need one another. Okay, so the first part, sometimes people can't handle truth, and that is a lot of what we deal with. I'm kind of, that's how I'm interpreting that first sentence, is like people might interpret or take your messages the wrong way, even though it's coming from the heart. And sometimes we can convey messages in a better way or a better tone or something. But at the end of the day, truth is truth, and it's very hard for a lot of people to take. So if I'm interpreting that wrong, please let me know. Love overtakes hate. Yes, it overtakes fear, because love is the only real thing and fear is an illusion. Which, it's easy to say that, but it's not so easy to walk through life and like fully walk in that all the time because fears pop up all around the corner and can sometimes just creep up and we're like, oh crap, I'm you know, acting out of a fear state right now, or like survival mode.
Yeah.
Power with silence. There is power in silence. I don't know if you're saying like sometimes holding your tongue is easier. And Liz has actually talked about that before, how it's like sometimes you just gotta get quiet. Like we both talked about that. It's like, I'm just gonna stop talking because
I'm not gonna say anything because there's no point.
Yeah, these messages aren't being received. It's not landing.
Dude, there was seriously, I had a moment like that tonight. Like at my dad's house, I was like, I am not even saying a word.
Yeah.
Because if I do,
yeah, and it's about protecting our inner peace, you know?
Well, it was just like a very misogynistic comment that he made. And I really just want to share it because I was just like, oh my God, are you kidding me? But basically, I was saying how the leader of the home group that I go to was kind of like making a joke that's from that movie, The Christmas Story. And he was quoting that a line in it that said, Mom hasn't had a hot meal in 15 years.
Oh, yeah.
And he was saying that because as soon as like we sat down to eat, actually, I think you were there, Ava. He was saying that he was saying that because I was like having to sit down and nurse my newborn because he just started screaming and, you know, and the food was sitting there on the table for me and I couldn't go, you know, eat it. And I was telling my dad that, and I was like, oh, that's the line. And I told him the whole story. And he's like, yeah, well, it's true. It just means I was like, he's like, if you want a hot meal, just keep out of the bedroom. And I was like,
I'm sitting here trying to figure out the math on that. I'm like,
I was like, so why? Like, I almost got like hot and heavy. I was like, excuse me? Do you not realize it takes 2 people to make a baby? Like 2. That. So why is all the responsibility on 1? Like, I was getting mad. I was like,
Oh, and keep your knees closed.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, don't cover that thing. God.
That's actually comical. It's
I just like, it was so unexpected from my dad, first of all, because like he doesn't ever talk about anything. Like he's like afraid to talk about anything like sexual in general. And then just to like hear that comment, like, oh, it's the woman's fault she got pregnant. I'm like, actually it came out of the man, but whatever. It's like there's a joke with the Simpsons that, you know, the baby's like crying and Homer goes, oh, I don't understand why I have to take care of something that came out of you. And Johnny thinks that's so funny and ridiculous. And so he likes to quote it just to get a rise out of me. I'm like, came out of you first. I'm just the baker. Okay?
Yeah.
It's yours. It's not mine.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, got me real hot and heavy, heated. And I was very much like, what just happened? And I had to literally like simmer down my flame, my little Aries flame. I was like,
that is so funny.
Maybe so bad. I was like, excuse me? Oh man. Anyways, that was off topic too, but whatever.
It's all right. It was relevant. I mean, family interactions today. I mean, that's
I'm sure
plenty
of people have good ones from today.
Yeah, well, I wanted to also acknowledge. So, JR said that his family hurt him today. They had brunch and a white elephant party, and he said he heard them talking about a party from last night that he was told wasn't happening this year.
That's rude.
So that's some BS. So that is another thing that's very toxic, is withholding information.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wanted to bring that up and not trying to like put you on the spot or make you an example, but like you did put it in the chat for all of us to see. So thank you for sharing that and being vulnerable. And I don't know, my heart goes out to you because that's never easy to hear that you were like cut out of something or like kept secrets were kept from or around you or something. You know, that's BS.
Yeah.
But your soul tribe's here, so happy Christmas. Yeah, so withholding information is a big one. Like, and that's actually like one of the cult traits, like identification things, is like controlling knowledge and information. So
Yeah. I mean, we should all understand that right now with
yeah,
everything going on in the world.
right.
I mean, just take the ideal toxic relationship, and that is our government.
Absolutely. Gaslighting,
Literally.
manipulation, control, codependency, withholding information,
Literally. All of it.
narcissism,
Gaslit.
what is that word? Pathological liars, like psychopath, like just go down the everything in the DSM, throw it. That's what we dealing with right now. So like we wonder why we're so like, it's because that's literally the crap realm that we've been cooking in this entire time for however many lifetimes, is like all that craziness.
And that's why we're all like that. Literally, wherever our government goes, the people follow.
Yeah.
So, because government is a government.
Govern your mind, control your mind.
Yeah.
Govern, to take hold of, mind.
Yep.
This is cool. I wondered about this. I've seen those blue people. So Barbara says, I was always drawn. This is kind of off topic, but it's okay. We're going to go here. I was always drawn to Egyptian hieroglyphics and the blue people. Then came Smurfs in the 80s and 90s. No coincidences. And they make the Smurfs to be super small. I've seen those blue people and they're like regular size people. I don't know what size they really were because beings were way bigger before, just like plants and animals and trees and all of that stuff. But I've seen those blue people too. And really interesting that you bring that up. So what?
I've always heard that we were meant to be blue because our blood before it hits the oxygen is blue. Like your veins aren't red.
Yeah, why do they call blue bloods like blue-blooded Americans?
I wonder if it's because the people that like all the like living life was like, you know, plants, animals, people were bigger before this. Like everything was bigger, and it's like the oxygen has decreased so much and like become poisonous basically to us. That's why we don't live that long. And I wonder if it has to do with the coloration of our skin also. It's like Avatar. Literally.
Whoa, yeah. And the depletion of the vapor canopy or whatever, because apparently there used to be that vapor canopy. Whoa, was the vapor canopy? Y'all, this is the type of stuff that I love to talk about, is like real earth and history and like human origins. So I wonder if the vapor canopy coming down was part of the flood, because vapor is liquid.
Yeah, because it supposedly had never rained before then.
Whoa.
That would make
sense. And then that would cause the reduction of giganticism and titans, big things. So,
also, like they would be killed essentially because they would all drown, because like supposedly the water was higher than the mountains. Mountains,
and because they find whale bones and seashells on the tops of mountaintops.
And another thing that Ian says is that the ark wasn't actually an ark, the little boat thing. He says it's a portal. It's called an ark, like an ark, like a portal into another dimension.
I could see that. I need to like wrap my mind around that a little bit more, but I could see that being a thing. I wondered if it was like a ship, and instead of it actually being physical animals and whatever that were put on there, it was like their genetic, like their DNA on the ship that was saved. Because that takes up way less space.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, there's plenty of animals and stuff that they like that you know, don't exist anymore. There's also there's something in the Bible that talks, or maybe in the book of Enoch actually, where it says like the daughters of Noah essentially created the Nephilim because they went into a city that wasn't their city, basically. And that's where Ian connects. It was a dimensional gate. They went into another dimension, had babies with angel-like beings, super beings, whatever, from another dimension, created the men of renown and the Nephilim. And that's where that whole thing happened. Anyways.
So this is, okay, y'all.
We're getting way off topic.
I feel like I need a different channel because this is like that type of stuff is what is.
I love that stuff.
I love it. I know, because I'm like, what is the truth? Where are we from? Yeah. What is all this crap about?
I just love, that's why I listen to Ian, because I love him like decoding the Bible in that way, like figuring all that out, because you can figure that out apparently through Hebraic writings, and that's what he does.
I'm so confused though about the time frame of that. Was that if they went through that portal and had, so y'all sorry, we about to have school right now. If they went through that portal and had babies, was that before or after the flood? Because
that was after. Like, because there is the Watchers.
Yes.
The Watchers were from genetic mutation and other seed line.
Okay.
So then after the flood, there's men of renown, Nephilim.
I thought they were already there.
I think that's the Watchers. They're different.
They're smaller than
the Watchers, men of renown, and Nephilim.
Yeah.
That are all like these super hybrid humans.
Right. Okay.
Anyways,
so off topic. We gonna learn today. Like
you're off topic here.
Bet y'all didn't think we were gonna talk about ancient human history. That's so funny.
Campbell with the Audacity on YouTube has a series on vapor canopy, Agartha, etc. before the flood.
Who it is?
Campbell?
Autodidactic. Yes. He just did a video today.
I read it as Audacity.
I was like, who's she talking about?
I can't read to save my life, y'all.
I'm so bad at reading.
Dyslexic and just not a great reader in general.
I'm actually going to drop it in the chat in case anybody is that's okay, honey.
My brain was just like, nope, that's Audacity. That's too big, so that's Audacity.
Nope, condense it. Okay, I'm actually going to drop that in the chat.
Oh my god.
Autodidactic.
Well, you see it says auto, and then I added the YT that she capitalized. My brain added the YT and the auto, and then the C somewhere in there. Goodness gracious. Welcome to my brain.
That's so funny. Oh, that's a good one. He's
JR gets me. He said he was seeing the same thing.
Oh. Hilarious. Okay, I'm just gonna drop his channel here because he's got a lot of really interesting stuff like star forts, all the extra land, the land beyond the lands, and all that type of stuff about things that have been hidden from us. So, and he actually premiered a video today. One of his videos today was on the star forts. Autodidactic.
I've never even heard that word. Autodidactity. Wait.
Didactic. Okay. Oh, good night, Mary. I'm probably really late.
Didactic. I'm gonna have to Google that. What does that mean?
Happy put up those magic. When my grandkids were little, their dad put a full playground in the basement so the kids could get their energy out. That's cute. As we learn to love ourselves, and this is good. Ocean Odell, as we learn to love ourselves and show ourselves love, we will not want negative and toxic people in our family. That is so true. The more we learn to love ourselves and set boundaries and respect and acknowledge our own boundaries, then we set our standard higher and other people have to meet those standards.
And man, those people that are not to those standards get real mad.
Yeah.
Get real mad once you become, in families especially, when you become like the cycle breaker essentially, and you hold boundaries. And because most of the time toxic families don't have any boundaries. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
So once you become that person that does hold the boundaries and you change the norm and how the family functions, you become the black sheep, most likely.
Yeah.
Unless they want to, eventually band with you and come along for the ride with you and then just change your whole family dynamic. But that slowly happens usually.
Yeah.
If it does happen.
Bye, Mara. Thank you. She's probably long gone, but
yeah. A strong truth, stay quiet today. Hard. Yeah. It is hard, but it does get easier. And then you just become really quiet. I think I said this before, like one of my aunts, she complimented me like a few years ago and was like, I am just so impressed with what a wise and, smart and strong woman you are. And I was like, thank you. Because I was like, I don't know where this is coming from, but I like slowly just became more and more quiet. I became that person that like you always should be like concerned or be watching the quiet one.
Yeah.
Because they're usually the smartest one in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Usually.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember who said it, but someone was talking about how I think it's in Indian culture, like the most sacred animal is the elephant because they have the bigger ears and a tiny mouth.
Mm-hmm. Like Ganesh, the Lord Ganesh, who is the elephant-headed god.
Oh,
you have 2 ears and one mouth, so it's like you should
teeny tiny mouth. Like you never
Yeah.
see an elephant's mouth ever.
Mm-hmm.
They have a really long nose, which is a representation of discernment, which is funny.
Yeah. Wow.
Actually, fun fact, real quick on elephants. Did you know that actually in Africa, the lion is not the king of the jungle? The elephant is. That is a Western. Yeah, that's a Western lie, basically. That's been pushed on us because of Lion King.
Not surprised.
The elephant.
Lion King.
There you go. Yep. The elephant is actually known. You don't mess with an elephant.
Right.
You don't. You run faster if there's an elephant around.
Mm-hmm. So I just wanted to share this. Ocean Odell said, I'm excited for all of us to have an amazing 2023. I'm vibing. Yes. I so feel that too. This has been a very interesting and trying year around love, relationships, and finances for sure.
Yeah.
So, and wow, and we are closing out our relationships portion of Freeing the Feminine tonight. So,
with a little
not the chat right now, but I'm just saying because we had 4 parts. What did you say?
I said with a little segue and a little interlude of other things.
Yeah. It's cool though. Our people want to know about this. Yeah. So what else? Oh, Lisa said, I heard blue people were the original race. I feel like I've heard something about that too. You know how some African tribes are so dark skinned that they look blue?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or purple. They look kind of purplish.
When we were in school, like junior high, high school, we called that blurple. Like he blurple. Yeah, but I could so see that that's like highly melanated. And then Mark is like the blue man group. Isn't that crazy?
Mm-hmm. Also,
Um
did you know that the melanin in your skin is actually produced by the sun?
yes.
Isn't that crazy? That's gotta mean something. Like the more
Skin
you look
and
at the
eyes and
sun,
hair.
yeah, the more you look at the sun, essentially, the more melanin your body creates.
Which is tanning. And then why do they want us to put sunscreen on and poison ourselves and block melanin production?
Mm-hmm.
There's something in melon. It's actually currency.
Yeah.
Because look at athletes. Look at a lot of high performing athletes are African American, like
Mm-hmm.
football, basketball, and they're traded. It's called a combine. We're literally watching essentially like slave trading happening when for
Mm-hmm.
the people who watch like combines and trades and whatever going on. It's crazy, y'all.
Yeah.
Um yeah. Total side note. Bye, Brianna. She's probably been gone. Yes, a lot of people do have flood stories. You're right. And it's like, okay, we know there was a flood because everybody talking about it in one way or
Everybody.
another.
Yeah.
Campbell with Autodidactic on YouTube has series on the vapor canopy Agartha. And so does uh Archaics, and he's actually who I found Joel, the guy that I do videos with. And actually Joel and I are going to be live tomorrow night with his wife, y'all, and we're going to be talking about shadow work and whether or not it's different between men and women. So I'm really excited about that. So definitely join me tomorrow night. It's going to be 8:30 CST. But anyway, he just did a really awesome video with Archaics again, the like few days ago, and I actually posted it in my Telegram. I just love where their chats go, and they talk about the type of stuff that's like soul food for me, and I'm like, oh man, how do I get in on these chats? Because it's not really like what my channel, not the conversations I have on my channel, but I'm like, I want to sit at this table and talk to them about this stuff. And I actually, it's so funny. This is total side note. Ava's world. I reached out. So I had been watching Archaics, and I listened to a chat where Joel was on. I was like, bro, I love this dude. Like, I love his like Toltec wisdom and all this other stuff, like what he brings to the table. I reached out to both of them, and I like stalked and found Joel on Facebook, and then we did a Zoom and like connected right away, and then we started recording. Never heard back from Jason from Archaics, but I'm that much closer now because he still records with Jason. Jason has a big platform and a lot of people coming at him, so that's something that I want to have happen because he's got a very interesting like 3D perspective on things, but he talks about all the things that we talk about, but from his experience. He's not like the spiritual perspective that we have. His is just very like, I died in a motorcycle accident and experienced these other realms, and I don't know. I don't astral travel and do all this other stuff and but I know what I experienced. And he like makes all these predictions and stuff of like, yeah, he's just very interesting. And I can drop one of his videos in the chat in a little bit. But he talks a lot about vapor canopy and stuff like this too. Tartaria timeline, yep, that's craziness too. Lost history of flat earth, yep. Oh,
you're not down there yet, but at the very end.
Okay, cool. Oh, you saw Avatar. Did you like it, Lisa?
I want to see it.
Me too. There are blue people in Appalachian, Tennessee. Wow.
I was like, really?
Interesting. And you all, there's supposedly like these things are going to start surfacing again. Liz, you were talking about this is so all over the place, and I absolutely love it because this is real conversation. Anyway, you were talking about extinct animals. I heard that there's animals that are like coming back, that people that were supposedly extinct. and they're being found again.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
In the ocean, especially.
Yeah, that's so cool. And that's prophetic stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. It's
Yeah,
cool.
they like discover new marine creatures all the time. And then I think recently they've discovered like big boys, big things in the depths of the ocean.
It's like Leviathan's back or something.
Yeah, something like that.
I'm back, y'all.
And sleeping.
Yeah, sleeping giants.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we talked about codependency. Does anyone have any other ways how they think codependency might show up in our lives? This is from like an hour ago.
Yeah.
We're back on topic, class.
Bring it back around. Circle back.
Circle back. We kind of did touch on a lot of things, but I just want to see if anybody else has.
Yeah. I feel like the toxic part of codependency is when you just can't live without something, or you can't make a decision without something. I used to say, which is kind of very just a little too general, but I used to say that whatever you needed, or you couldn't live without, controlled you. And I agree with it and don't at the same time.
Yeah.
My own quote. I agree with it and I don't. Because where I am now, I'm no, I need people, but I used to say it because I was highly addicted to coffee and I hated being highly addicted to something and feeling like I needed it. JR, I'm codependent to these chats now.
I think so this is what, am I cutting you off? Were you saying
No,
something else?
I don't think so.
I want to go back to what you were talking about with community versus you were talking about codependency in a good way versus a bad way, and then I talked about health versus toxicity, and I feel like the health aspect would be the community, and what attracts what creates a healthy community is like we talked about, people having boundaries, people being on a similar frequency and sharing a similar vision and working together on something, and it's like this cohesiveness, and that happens when all the ships are rising at the same time and they're already meeting each other at that level.
Right.
The toxicity happens when somebody comes in and their ship got holes, and then they're climbing up somebody else's because they forgot their life raft, and all that other stuff. So it's just a healthy community has everybody working on their own health, on their own self and sufficiency, and their own standards, and honoring their standards and their independence and uniqueness, and also honoring that within other people. And it creates this beautiful network, neural network almost.
Well, it's everybody coming to the table with something to give.
Yeah. And
instead of coming to the table with expecting to receive, you come to give, and in turn you receive.
Yes, I love that. So when we were first talking about codependency, I wanted to look it up because I don't know that I've ever actually fully looked it up. So Merriam-Webster says codependency, noun, a psychological condition or a relationship in which a person manifesting low self-esteem and a strong desire for approval has an unhealthy attachment. Low self-esteem, desire for approval, and unhealthy attachment. To another often controlling or manipulative person, such as a person with an addiction to alcohol or drugs. And then it says broadly, dependence on the needs of or on control by another. So
Well, people that are very insecure need someone to control them because they can't control themselves,
yeah.
essentially.
Or like how you've told me, how there's someone very close to you who like doesn't trust himself to make decisions because the way they were brought up, I don't know, were like
Yeah.
they were questioned all the time or something, or what was it?
Yeah, I mean, they were just like everything they did was like, what are you doing? Like their parents would always be like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? Like just like with them just like sitting in their room, like it was always like they were suspicious. Their parents were always suspicious of them. So
Yeah.
they in turn turned out to be suspicious of every thought that they had, basically, which is crazy. It's like some serious psychological crap right there.
I know.
But yeah, so they could never make a decision because they had basically their parents' voice in their head being like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? That's not going to work, you know, that kind of thing. So it's really sad.
It's wild. Okay. Do you want to? I want to keep going.
Oh, JR wore my shirt or sweatshirt, my Born sweatshirt this morning. That's a perfect shirt to wear today with your family that is being rude.
Oh my gosh. I gotta take a quick break.
Do you have to use the bathroom?
Yes.
She's over there doing her little potty dance.
I know. Because I drank a lot of water, y'all, because my throat started to feel really weird. I was like, oh no, we ain't getting sick again or whatever. And I really think we were talking about this before we got on. I think it's some throat chakra stuff because I was at my family's house. And so I've been chugging water and I'm like, oh God.
You're so funny. You're so funny. Bye. She's going on a potty break, guys. Don't you love how I say potty like she's a 5-year-old?
Yes, I'm like, teacher.
Here's your hall pass. You get it for 2 minutes. Oh my gosh. I'm glad you wore my shirt, JR. I'm glad you are representing it. I've got this one on. This one's oh, wait. Oh, it says freeing the feminine, by the way. Little man down here has slept. He has slept for this whole time we've been talking. He's real cute. Do you want to see? Let's see if he'll stay put there. Look at him. Look at that cutie. Look at that cutie. I always gotta show my baby because he's always in these videos technically, but he's not at the same time. Anyways. Codependency, guys. This is so funny. I think maybe if I put it on my channel, I'll probably edit this part out just for Ava's sake. You guys get it just because you're on the live with us. Oh, make sure you like and share the video. No worries. He is so good. Yeah. I haven't read hardly any of these comments. Oh, look, she's back. I think I'll edit this. Should I edit this part out on my channel?
I don't care.
People on the live can see it. It's so funny. I showed you.
Oh, that's funny. Well, it's real life. Hi, mister.
He's waking up because you're back.
Okay, Ocean, if you open your heart and allow the flow of abundance in your life, everything will change. I love that. And then Mark over here just wants somebody who's going to strengthen his weaknesses and vice versa. Has somebody started a spiritual people's dating app where there's no backsies? Real reality TV. Just being real. Hi, mister.
You're looking the wrong way. Look over there. Oh.
Hi, baby. Oh, he waved. That was cool.
Say hi.
He's very responsive. That's so cool.
You say hi. Dico. Say hi. He's like, I'm saying hi, Mom. I'm doing it.
Oh, good job.
He's like standing up, like he's pushing up. He can hold himself up pretty well.
Has he rolled again?
Yeah, twice.
Like, wow,
This
he's
kid,
gonna be like sprinting next week. There's this like child, like newborn, like just chopping down the street.
it looks so funny because he's so little. Like, just even how he stands up, like in places, I'm like, that looks just so weird. He looks like a little elf.
That is so funny. Okay, so we talked about that. Did we talk about, I had a question, why do we have toxic relationships or interactions?
Because we all have toxicity within ourselves.
And if we're mirrors to the people in and out of our lives, people come into our lives to literally highlight and show us our crap.
Right.
For us to face.
Right.
And hopefully acknowledge and transmute.
Yeah, you literally, like, whatever you are, you attract.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're attracting toxic people and situations, there's a element of toxicity that you need to deal with.
Yeah.
Before you deal with the next level of toxicity. Mm-hmm. Usually it gets deeper and deeper and more complicated. Like, starts out pretty surfacey because, you know, like shallow people attract shallow people. And then it just gets kind of deeper and deeper and deeper. And then it gets more psychological and you don't realize how toxic it is. And you think you've evolved and you really haven't that much because you've just gone deeper and deeper within yourself and met yourself in a deeper place. Yeah. But it's all just this like, it's this never ending journey and work that you do.
Yeah.
Because we're here to learn. That's
yeah.
why.
Earth school.
Literally. And what we don't learn here, we'll learn somewhere else. Or we'll come back.
Mm-hmm. I'm like, no, let me get these out of the way because I feel like I've been here enough. I don't want to be in remedial classes. JR said, I saw a video about Pure Blood dating site. It used to be the VAC dating site. Now Pure Bloods are in demand now. I saw on the Breaking Headlines channel on Telegram how unvaccinated blood is in high demand. It's like, no crap.
Right.
No crap.
Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah.
No babies for this older gal. I've heard babies born after 2020 are advanced in their development. That is actual fact because Levi is for sure. And this guy seems to be for sure. Levi was born in February of 2022. So
both of my sister's children, my niece and nephew. So I think Elijah was born sometime at the beginning of the year in 2020. Mm-hmm. And then Stella was born December 6th of last year. So she's got some. Yeah.
They're Generation Alpha. Which is very interesting.
A new start. Yeah. What's so interesting about Elijah is like before he was even here, I had this like weird realization that hit me. Like, I know this child. Like before he even was born. And I'm not, I don't talk to my sister really. But it was just weird, like knowing. And then when he saw me, he looked like he recognized me and his face lit up. And my mom was like, oh, look how he's smiling at Ava and he's all laughing and stuff. And then I met my niece today and she's just like staring at me and like, yeah. She's so cute. Oh my gosh. So cute.
Yeah. I definitely think it's kind of interesting that it's starting with Alpha because just even the timing of everything happening, it's like, who decided that? Who decided that the generation was going to be called Alpha? And do they know what's happening? Because feel like they do.
Yeah, definitely. So I think we should end with talking about healthy relationships. Like, what are some qualities to look for in a healthy relationship? I'll start. Honesty, integrity. So integrity with a person's self, like self-awareness, and them being in touch with their emotions, or excuse me, being like honest with themselves about their emotions, or how they're feeling, and just honoring that within themselves. And integrity with others, so like words and actions aligning. Definitely honoring boundaries. Healthy communication, so where they're not like trying to force something out of you, out of another person, but they're communicative. I guess they're like reciprocal in the energy exchange. You know what I mean? Like if someone's communicating this much, the other person's meeting them at that level. Yeah. And it's just an even exchange. It's not one person putting in all the work. And then also
respectful of boundaries.
Yes, that was what I was gonna say. I was like, I know there's one more. There's something important here. We've been talking about it all night.
Yeah. One of the most important, I'd say, because everything kind of encompasses that in a lot of ways. What is going on over here? Yeah, I feel like, yeah. And I feel like allowing each other to grow and evolve is a big one.
I was going to say someone who is actively doing things to heal themselves, like actively on a healing journey, you know, not just talking about it or like hoping for it or being like, hey, I have these things, and then not doing anything about it.
Right. For me, it's important to do healing, but also just growth in general. I mean, I guess healing is growth, but like at the same time, there's other ways in life you can grow and evolve. And like me and my husband have both talked about how we don't want to be the same person that we were last year. You know, like we think about the new year, and even though we don't like, I mean, me personally, I don't really celebrate the new year in January. I celebrate it on my birthday because that makes the most sense to me. It also happens to be in March, so
the actual new year.
The actual new year. But I like always want to like look back and see where I was the year before when I just turned that age, and I'm like, what's changed? Am I different? Have I grown? What have I learned? You know, that kind of thing. And we both have talked about that, and we're both just like, it's really cool. Like we thrive on seeing ourselves in a different place every year. Like that's what we look forward to the most about a new year, is just the thought of it's 11/11. What's going to be different next year, and who we're going to be next year, and you know, all that comes with that. So
yeah,
I feel like that's something healthy in a relationship is growing together.
Ocean, good night, Lisa.
Good night.
Ocean Odell also says, when your partner listens and is supportive. Yeah, so being able to speak, but also being able to listen and hold space, and not feel like you have to fix everything when the other person is just needing to get their thoughts out, like vent or something.
Yeah,
you know.
Absolutely.
Looking back, my inner knowing pushed a lot of ladies away. Thank God for unanswered dreams on most wasn't meant to be. Yeah.
It's like that weird country song that's like God's greatest gift is
unanswered prayers. That's what I was thinking too.
I was just like, that's actually a really good line. That's a really good line. Yeah.
Cool. Does anyone else have anything they'd like to add to that? What the church said.
Can we get an amen? Can we get a hallelujah from the chorus?
Hallelujah.
Yes, Lord.
Yes, Lord.
Oh man, that's what I meant.
Oh, you were okay. He did say song under that. Okay.
I don't even know how it goes. I've heard it once, I think, and it's still stuck in my. Oh, we got a hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Say it for the people in the back. Yes, Lord.
You have to like get up and do this.
There you go. There she goes. There she goes. I have a newborn on my lap, so I can't get up. Otherwise, I'd join you.
It's so funny. Absolutely here. Yes.
Yeah.
Being seen, being heard, being enough for or from a relationship is key.
Yeah.
The last part, we got to be enough or know that we're enough in ourselves first too.
Mm-hmm.
And then because then if we're not, we place this heavy burden and expectation on another person to make us feel like we're enough.
Mm-hmm.
And then they can't ever feel that.
Yep.
So then that creates toxicity within itself. And it vice
resentment.
versa, if the other person's doing that and they have self-worth issues and they're like, love me, why don't you love me? And like, no, you gotta love yourself. That's another thing. Self-love. Like if the person hates themselves and doesn't know how to love themselves first, they're never going to be able to love you. Period.
Yeah.
Period.
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 Okay. They're laughing, Mark and JR. That we had to take it to church for a minute.
It is Sunday. It is a Sunday. Us heathens didn't go.
Damn heathens. We're
backslidden.
Backslidden, yeah. We're casual Christians.
Yep. Real cash.
Oh, I want to put this video in here before it gets too far along, but we're wrapping up, I think. I don't know, maybe not. Archaics.
What video? Oh, in the chat. I'm like, what are you talking about? What were you gonna play?
Oh yeah, sorry.
I'm gonna start singing. That's always my filler as I sing.
Yeah, you do. It's fun. Oh, I watched your live today, actually, this morning.
I thought you probably did because you sent me that YouTube that JR was talking about in it.
Right, yeah. Okay, so here's the link for this video that my friend Joel did with Archaics. Where am I going? Okay, to the chat. Like, why am I lost on YouTube? To the chat. I was lost in YouTube land for a second.
It's all right. Okay. I got so many tabs open. I don't even know what I need to be on.
Video with. Oh, y'all, and Twitter has like well, I don't know if it's called Rooms or whatnot, but there used to be an app called Clubhouse. I don't know if it's still around, but it's essentially like these big chat rooms where there's speakers and like somebody has the floor and you can like hold your hand up and contribute to the conversation. But Twitter has that capacity now. And I got on randomly. It was actually at your house, Liz. And I saw this notification that Joel, his handle is Perceiver, he was in some chat, and I was like, this is probably good. Blink. And I get in and he's like dropping all these like bombs and stuff. And I was like, oh. And so, yeah. So if y'all are on Twitter and you ever see like a chat going and it's something that seems interesting, maybe drop in Yeah, that's true. Maybe drop in because sometimes it's like really cool. Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't mean to put that. Okay, but anyway, that was so random. Perceiver, Joel, and Archaics. I'm glad we did this because I was so tired. I was
Yeah, me
like,
too. I
I
almost
should.
I almost texted you and was like, can we do it tomorrow?
I was so thinking that too. I was like, oh, but
It's
I
so
can't
funny. We
because
both stuck in there for you
I
guys.
know. I was like, she might not make it.
We both stuck in there. We both held our tongue and didn't say it because if one of us said it, it would have been like, yeah, it's fine.
That's a good idea. Yeah, but I couldn't because at 8:30 tomorrow I'm with Joel.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
and
it.
then Tuesday I have my Patreon chat, and then I might go live again on Tuesday. I don't know. I don't know.
But we did it. We did it, guys.
We did
Just for
it.
y'all.
It's been like a month since our last.
Yeah,
Freedom
because you
Feminine,
were
so-
here and we didn't even attempt to do it here.
But we gave him a little something else, so it was good.
I kind of figured we probably should do a video together soon. Otherwise, people think some drama happened while you.
Oh yeah, they'd be like, I heard.
Where's what happened? Where's Ava? Why aren't you doing videos with her?
Right.
Like, well, I talk to her every day.
Seriously.
We do videos back and forth to each other all the time.
All day. For me, last week was freaking. No, is this the same? This is the same week.
It's only
This is
Sunday.
This is exactly why. This week has been wild for me. Yeah, since I got back, I've been really busy, so that's why the videos that have dropped have been pre-recorded on my channel. So that's why I've been like kind of MIA because it's just been so quiet. No, so busy, not so quiet.
That's why you've been so quiet.
That's why I've been so quiet. I was looking at the chat trying to figure some stuff out. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, that is all I had to. That's all I wanted to talk about in here.
Yeah. I think we covered everything in a roundabout way. We did.
We did, yeah. That was fun. I love that we talked about like early Earth stuff.
Trolls and giants and blue people.
Yes. It is just so weird how trolls keep coming into my attention sphere, and I'm still trying to figure out, and why was that the most popular toy on my birth year? Am I a troll?
There might be some in your DNA somewhere.
Do I have troll DNA?
Well, trolls could be, just a misrepresentation of something else. Like the Titan thing.
Like
they could be gods. They could be gods, literally.
Oh. Okay.
Queen Midas.
Maybe that's why I've always felt bigger than I am.
Me
like
too.
I'm little, but I've always felt like I feel like I need so much more space. And
Me too. Like, you know what's funny? This is something I didn't tell you when you were here. I was like, she's big energy. Big. I was like, I know, and it's a lot of space. Like you do.
It's a lot of
Johnny does too.
Yeah. It's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
Because I can walk in and change a room. Mm-hmm. And that's good because I can be like, how did that, like the bright, bubbly, like little fairy, like bouncing around. Or I can be like, everybody better get out of my way. Like, or I'm like to myself because I'm either so tired or like just not having it. And I don't want to interact with anybody. And I want to be under the radar, which I can never be under the radar. And then I'm shifting the room and I'm not trying to. But it's like if I have an off day, God forbid I have an off day and I'm quiet and I'm to myself, people are like, what's wrong?
Yeah.
Are you okay? I'm like, can I live?
Girl, I even noticed when you were having it, I was like, I felt that energy shift. What happened?
And the thing is, I try to like keep it to myself because I know that it's like not about other people. And I'm like, I just need my space. I just need to go hide in a
What's funny
somewhere.
Is it's literally a tornado though.
Huh?
Like it's a tornado.
I know.
The vortex. You create a vortex.
God, and I try not to.
You know why I know this? Is because my mother does the same thing. I lived with this my whole life. Like the same type of energy. I'm not saying it's necessarily a bad thing.
I was like, I'm sorry.
No, I'm just used to it. That's why I recognized it so quickly. I was like, she's got big energy. Like my mom. Like you could just feel wherever you are in the house. I know exactly where you are. Johnny's the same way. I married my mother pretty much, like in that way. But like, there's something, you expand yourself for some reason. Like I say y'all do because my mom, Johnny, you expand yourself. I don't know if I do. I don't think I do. But yeah. Maybe I'm just hypersensitive to it because I lived with it my whole life. But I don't know.
Maybe, but I've gotten that my whole life too.
It's a thing. And then it's literally the girl on Encanto, the girl that controls the weather. Like as soon as she starts feeling bad, she starts turning into a hurricane.
I told you, didn't I tell you about that crazy thunderstorm that I think I created? And it was like torrential. Like it's the scariest thunderstorm. I was camping and like I was with this was one point a relationship was ending and I like took off work and I knew like we had planned this camping trip and blah, 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 blah. But I knew something was off and I knew he was going to break up with me. So I'm in this like mood because I'm like, and we're like about to go and climb this mountain. And I'm just in this whole like internal, like, what is going to happen? He hates me. What did I do? Can I fix it? And like the pressure changes. And it's like, boom, boom, boom. And over the mountain range, there's this like ominous wall of clouds that's coming at girl. And there's nowhere to hide because you're literally parking to go climb a mountain. There's not like buildings or anything. That was the loudest, most crazy, scary thunderstorm. And I'm like, and that is when I first realized that I might be able to control weather. And he turns to me and he's like, I think you're Storm. That was the first time.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. And I was like, oh.
That was literally a scene out of a movie. I think you're Storm.
Yeah. And it's crazy.
Lightning bolts go.
Yeah. Oh my God. I would love and just have like, oh, I love that. That and then the nails that are like, ching, like the Wolverine. I need some of those. I do.
I'm gonna find you some on Amazon.
I need them to just like and just like and retract.
She's got it all planned out, guys.
That's when I gotta fight the baddies. I don't want to have to fight, but I handles me and mines, y'all. I'd be real protective. But there's this like feeling when you know that you influenced or impacted something. And I had that feeling with that storm. And I've had it I feel like I caused 2 rain showers in Florida again from like crying. Oh, I like one time my dad really ticked me off. This was when I moved back from Florida in 2020. And he like really disrespected me and I had to like tell him something. And I went in my room and you know when like you cry, but you're kind of holding it in, you're like that. Okay, well, I was like sitting on the floor and I was like holding it in. And then the lights in the house were like, zoom, like everything just like, zoom. And then I hear thunder in the distance.
Yeah.
And this storm rolls in. And that was so crazy.
Well, I told you my story about that, which is funny because the whole time you were here, it was rainy.
Yeah, y'all.
And we were like, did you affect it or did I? I don't know.
I think it was me. When we talked about it after I moved, you're like, girl, there ain't no rain in the schedule right now.
Literally, she left and it was pure sunshine. Pure. But what's funny is I told you when I was little, I like literally thought I had control over the weather because my parents were divorced. And every time I went to my dad's house, I was sad. And it would be raining. And my dad would always say, it always rains when you guys come over. And I remember like having that thought in my head, like that I'm affecting the weather. Later on, I realized you can do kingdom stuff with the weather. And I have definitely stopped. This is probably why we're friends.
I
I have
know.
literally stopped storms from causing
And I'm the one
destruction.
creating them. I'm like,
So
you'll be
what's funny,
sorry.
yeah, what's funny is, and you know, I'm actually saying this publicly, but I have literally like been a mother to storms. And like, you don't have to be that like this. You can calm down. Like, I've like expanded myself, seen myself expand over the storm and hugging it. And then it literally calms down instantly.
Interesting. Well, if that's an extension of Mother Earth and she's like getting, riled up about something,
Yep. Or being messed with,
mess with, yeah.
being like prodded like an animal. Yeah.
We're like two X-Men ladies that found each other.
It's just funny that you feel like you create them and I feel like I stop them.
Maybe it's just because I need to get my power under control.
Maybe.
For sure. That's why I have to be one reason I have to be so active. I'm like, I need to go run, or I need to go like lift really heavy, or I need to go dance really freaking hard.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I got all this energy. Yes, I'm gonna go run. It's like, but Johnny,
Yeah.
so y'all, Johnny
Oh my
doesn't.
gosh.
Liz told me that he doesn't like to go out after dark, like because of in his culture.
We should call ourselves ex-women, like JR said.
Ex-women, yeah, for sure. But after dark time, it's like only the ne'er-do-wells go out, like the drug peoples and the ladies of the night. So like he doesn't like to go out at night because he's like, what? There's nothing happening at night except bad things. And last time I went running at Liz's house, it was like
6 o'clock.
Six, sometime around there, and it was already dark. And I'm like, I'm going. She told me that when he got back, he's like, "Where's Ava?"
No, he literally was like this. Where's Ava? And I was like, she went for a run. A run? I was like, yeah, like outside in the neighborhood. Why? Like, he was like so concerned. I was like, because she wanted to exercise. It's only 6. He's like, it's so late. I was like, no, it's 6 o'clock. It's just dark.
And it's funny because I love night runs. Oh my God, I love night runs. And I actually got lost on that run. Like I ran 4 miles and then couldn't really figure out where I was and walked the last mile. I wasn't that far, but I walked a mile home. So I had a friend ask me, weren't you scared? Like you were out where you, I'm like, no. No, I don't really get scared in new. He was like, but you're in a new place. I'm like, yeah, I don't.
It's also the suburbs and like nothing happens over here.
Yeah. I'm like, I've walked like the streets of Chicago by myself at night, like, clip clopping through town in heels, like not even caring. New York too. And I've had women, like my girlfriends ask me, like, aren't you scared? I'm like, girl, no, of what? Living? Bye. Yeah. I'm like, I gotta get this life, hunty.
Literally. Yeah. That was funny, his reaction.
People think I'm so crazy.
Well, I mean, also like, okay, just think of having to deal with this. When we first came over here, like there's no time switching over in Africa. Like they don't switch times like we do. And it doesn't get dark. He's like close to the equator and it doesn't get dark, like the time, like it's always dark by like 6 o'clock over there. Always. And so in his brain, you eat dinner after dark. So with it changing here, basically in the wintertime, we have to eat dinner at like 4:30. And in the summertime, we don't eat dinner until 8 o'clock. Like, because in his mind, he can't have dinner while it's light outside.
So funny.
There's just so many things like you just don't even like are so funny about being a cross-cultural relationship. Like I kind of wish we were a reality TV show sometimes.
Well, you can easily make your own.
Oh, I know. I kind of like have started to dip into that with just like showing our life on YouTube. I'm like, we can totally do this.
Yeah,
He would be up for it. He's very
really-
private though. He's a lot more private than I am, so
yeah.
that's part of it.
That just goes to show also how much like with the time changes, the manipulation and how it screws with us, you know, our circadian rhythms and everything. We've talked about that before too, but it's like, why?
Yeah.
What's the need?
There's no point anymore.
I think Barbara's the one who actually said that they're not going to do it after this year or something.
They're
Which
supposed
is cool.
to stop after it springs forward in March is what I heard. I've heard mixed things that they're not going to spring forward, and I think we would all revolt if that happened because no one likes being dark at 4:30.
Exactly. Like what kind of crap? No. We want
No.
all them. We want all of them daytime hours, y'all. We don't have time for this.
All that vitamin D.
Yes. Barbara said trolls were first popular in the 60s. Tolkien became popular and the elementals came out of hiding. Yeah. So Honey C. Golden talks about J.R.R. Tolkien possibly being like actual Gandalf type being who's kind of recounted that information in those books, like they're actual historical books, which is crazy because I've watched Lord of the Rings so many freaking times throughout my life because my parents were sci-fi junkies and they love Lord of the Rings. It's in the forward, back, regular, extended version. And I remember from a young age watching them and being like, I feel like this is real.
Yeah.
And
I couldn't watch them because I felt like it was real.
Yeah.
Because I was afraid of everything as a child.
Yeah. I would recommend it. It'd be kind of cool. Maybe if you want to do, they're great movies, like beautifully made. And I don't know. I just like to watch them, like those and Harry Potter. I can watch so many times because I like to pick up the truths that they're putting out there.
Yeah.
But those are just incredible films.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a good point, JR, being able to read people. You love energy is a good thing, in my opinion. Have you had any shots tonight? Real talk. Right here. Because that other time when we was in Lily, what's her name, Starseed Nova's chat, you're like, I'm 3 to Quillert shots in.
Quillert.
Quillert. Have we been drinking tonight?
Oh my gosh.
Had some of that Christmas crinkle juice.
Christmas.
I don't know what that is.
Oh my God.
I'm totally messing with you. Well, I do kind of want to know, but I'm like not putting you on blast. I'm messing with you. I also think they make clouds too. There is a cloud making machine that has been shown and there's patents for it. And it's no secret that they manipulate the weather. DARPA. I mean, it's a CIA program.
Oh, yes.
JRS, if I had yoga pants. Okay, y'all. So when I lived in PA, my ex, because we lived on a road that did not have sidewalks. It was a country road. And I was like, I got to get this run in. And he's like, you going to take a gun? Because we had hella guns. Okay. And like all sizes, like big ones. And he's like, you going to take a gun? I'm like, and put it where? Like, I'm not. Oh, this was when I was running because I would go down by the Allegheny and I'd run on this beautiful trail. And he would be like, you need to take a gun with you. That will literally pull my pants down, like the weight of that. Like, how I don't understand. Where am I supposed to put it?
Gotta get a strap.
Right. I don't get
Hold it up. Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's funny.
I'm gonna have to go.
Yeah, I just realized I'm like, we're almost at 2 hours.
We are almost at 2 hours. 2 minutes. A minute from 2 hours.
I was right.
Yep. Decoding needed.
I know.
Yeah, it starts to get a little more fuzzy and fuzzy. We're like, what?
We're like, what's it saying?
JR's an OG.
Yeah. Y'all, thank you so much for being here. Like, we totally got off
So
topic
many
many times.
topics.
But it's cool because this is honestly stuff that I've been wanting to talk about on my channel for so long, and I have not known how to like fit it in. So I'm glad that we kind of like touched on some things.
Yeah, touched on a lot of things.
A belly holster. I don't even know what that means. It sounds really uncomfortable.
Yes. You'd have to wear a really big sweatshirt. Good night, Mark.
Good night.
Thanks
Good
for
night,
hanging.
Mark. Yeah, thank you. Good night, JR. Good night, Barbara.
Good
Thank
night.
you all, and Merry Christmas. And yeah, we'll see you soon. Are you going live soon, Liz? Or you just went live? Never mind. I'm like, do it more. Give us lives.
Yeah. I got to talk about my iHercules stuff.
Oh yeah, Hercules.
I don't know if I'll do it live, but I'll do it sometime.
Okay. I can't wait to start that too. We're letting you be the guinea pig for the crew.
I am being the guinea pig. I'm happily being the guinea pig.
Yeah.
And I shall do video updates and tell you all what is happening to my
Take
body.
pictures too along the way.
Yeah, I took a picture of my face so far. I need to pick, I guess, probably the rest of my body just to see.
Body ones. And like your feet and ankles and stuff too.
I think I should measure myself.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I can already tell myself, I can already feel myself deflating like every day. It's weird. I wake up and I'm like, well, that looks smaller.
Good.
It's so nice.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, you all. Everybody, thank you. Everybody, have a great night. Get some good rest, and we will see you soon. And remember, you are sovereign, powerful, worthy, and loved. Thank you, Liz. That was fun. And yeah, I love you all. Bye.
Bye.